welcome to this interview this evening from the Netherlands. And with me tonight are, now maybe you can start, Paul.
Yes, Paul Keizers. I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I live in Portugal. Microsoft MVP, specialized on Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. So I give the word to Amy.
Yeah, hello. I'm Ami Diamond. I live in Israel. It's a place where now is in some delicate situation now, but I'm safe. And I'm a MVP in SharePoint and in Teams. I'm a SharePoint consultant. And yeah, enjoy. I have a YouTube channel and I enjoy sharing with the SharePoint community. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my name is René Vliegen. I'm also a consultant. I do a lot of different things in the Microsoft 365 world. And I'm also an MVP and a Microsoft certified trainer. And this evening, we are going to talk about Copilot. But before we can use Copilot, we have to take some steps. Now, and about those steps, we are going to speak this evening. So my first question is for Paul. Yeah. Paul,
He's the guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, what are the foundational steps you should take as an organization before you can use Copilot in a safe way?
Well, I think there are quite a few you have to take to be safe. And I think Amy and you can acknowledge this. But one of the simple steps is the oversharing. A lot of organizations start out with Microsoft Copilot without knowing that all files that are shared within the organization are visible to Copilot. And this is actually nothing new, because before we had Microsoft Delve, where you could see everybody's profile, and a lot of companies turn it off immediately at the time. But now the business power is so huge that they want to use Copilot. So now they have to do their architecture, their governance, their policies. So that's the first step. I think that's a good start.
Can I comment on that? When you say
Absolutely.
sharing, I think the proper thing should be permissions. Because you share, when you share, you give permissions. So so when you give proper permissions, or when you give permissions that are worldwide publicly to the whole company, then lots of files and documents will pop up. But it's more the permission management that just like in a search before Copilot, when you would search for something and you had access, then the user would receive it. So that's my small correction for my side that makes it more clearer, at least for me, because yeah.
I
Go
agree on
ahead.
that. I agree on that, because it's oversharing is mostly talked at sharing outside of the organization, for example, but also if you have something on your OneDrive, and maybe we know all the folder that was called in the early days shared with everyone on the OneDrive. So things like that that are really something you need to look at from a sharing perspective, but also on your libraries, which libraries may be shared to Copilot and which ones may not. So I think that's really important, and that's really something on the SharePoint side. But there's more, and maybe René, you can add on.
Yeah, there's a lot more. And most of the time when I visit a customer, I always look at their basic implementation of the Office 365 products. What is the way of working, how they want to work together with colleagues, what are all the settings within Teams in SharePoint or OneDrive, and also the interaction with Entra. So then all those services have a lot of integrations between them. That is always my starting point. Also the conditional access layer for the basic security. And on top of that, I'm going to build other solutions.
I would recommend to roll out in a big bang, but in a limited, maybe you can limit it to a site or to a limited um, audience. Okay, so not everyone is together. You choose a department, you choose specific people that will test it and also see the outcome. So not in a big bang. Try in small bunches, see if it works, and then continue slowly. Um, that's, I think, gradually.
Yeah, I see that
Absolutely
approach
agree.
a lot. Yeah.
And for all, you will get some information back of the organization, because not all people have to use Copilot. Some are better off with Teams Premium, for example. So it will give you a lot of information back to your IT department or business. What is a valid reason to buy the Copilot? Because it's quite an expensive tooling to have. The ROI is big if you use it correctly.
Yeah, but true. And often organizations forget to define personas and what are the use cases, which problem do we want to solve with AI.
Yeah, exactly. And I think from an IT perspective, a lot of companies want to use it directly because it's a new toy. But you have to definitely involve the business at first, because they are going to use it, and they are the ones who define what should be in there and what should be returned.
True, true. Yeah, the organization, the business is the most important.
Yeah, but the business doesn't always know about security and information security. They can say what is the solution they want, or they want to save money. They want to make it automated to save time. Um, they shouldn't care what the technology is. The IT should provide the proper solution to solve the problem. And
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
this
yeah.
does mean that we start off with a business story. And from this business story, the IT has to make a plan. How are we going to set up this? And how many people are involved in our first pilot? And indeed, what you said, don't do it with a big bang. Start off with a small group of people. And especially because you commit for 1 year with Copilot directly. So it's also an investment you do directly into the Copilot. And if you have to buy for your whole company, if you have an enterprise, that could be a very costful investment.
And you know what's a little bit strange? IT isn't used to talk to the business, and the business is not used to talk to IT. And now IT has to be a little bit more the helping hand and to define some guidelines. Hey, you can use Copilot and you can use it in a safe way. And we define the guidelines for security and compliance. And you guys can use the tool and can do your work and be productive.
Exactly.
yeah, I want to specify that it's a different topic, but talking about migration. So when you move from one system to another, if you don't do that data cleansing or cleaning the quality of the data, it's what's called garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not on daily basis managing permissions or checking your files and checking or working properly as you should, then don't be surprised that you'll get lots of updated files or wrong results, that just
Yeah.
because your information is not organized properly, and don't expect the Copilot to fix that. You need to do that on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Absolutely agree. And as an example, I know a company that has they migrated themselves to SharePoint, and I'm not going to name the name, but they put everything in one library. Okay, that's already a risky one because they have 3 million items, so they have
Oh my God.
a big issue with OneDrive, but that's a different story. But what they do is they have like folders that they call final version, and they save all versions in the library. So what does Copilot do? It just gets every data from everywhere. So it doesn't check if it's from a folder called earlier versions. It just checks, is it there? Okay, I can use it. So that's a big one.
I have a question because I just thought about it. Is Copilot relating to metadata or only to file names? Or is that a future thing that might be possible? Because if the proper way of Microsoft is not using folders, but to use metadata without getting to the threshold issue and other things. But I hope is that something that we know or we can expect that metadata would in future be also populated or used?
I think it's used already because what basically Copilot is a search with a language model over it. And we all know that in search, if the metadata is good provision, so we use content types, then it's searchable and it will come back to your search. So it will also turn up in your Copilot results.
Oh, okay. I need to test that.
Yeah. And there are already some solutions on the market to enrich your data. If you migrate data from your on-premise file server to SharePoint, to Teams, and OneDrive, you can enrich that data with certain metadata.
Yes. And I know that, for example, Daniel Anderson, he made a good video about document sets because folders are just folders, but document sets are like content types with metadata already in there, which is also indexed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love the concept of the document sets if you are going to use folders anyway.
It demands extra knowledge and effort to set it up, okay? And in specific use cases, I think it's useful, but you need to know how to set it up. Not every end user can know how to do that, but it's good for specific cases, I think. And it's not totally modernized, so I think it needs to be modernized yet.
Yes. Well, the main thing is that it already pre-populates so metadata. You can already set this metadata is already in there when it's a new document set. So that makes it really easy to use. But maybe we are going a bit off topic.
Yeah.
No, it's no
but
problem.
Paul, what preparations do we need for Teams for Copilot? Is there anything we need to prepare for Teams before we can roll it out? Or is it more easier?
I think it depends on your situation in Teams. But there's definitely some settings you need to take care of. And especially, for example, I didn't see it at your end now, René, but if you start a meeting, do you want to have a consent by default? So people will be, their webcam is going off and they're muted. Or do you want to have it like we have now, that you just continue with the meeting and that there's a banner that you automatically give consent? And these things also have to do with Copilot.
Is that a policy or a setting? Or just
a
toggle? Okay.
It's a setting in the policy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, some settings are not part of the policy, okay? And some policies have settings.
Yeah. And you know, Microsoft keeps switching around all kind of settings from the basic version to Teams Premium and vice versa. So yeah, every month you have to look, hey, What changed this month?
Yes.
Now, one topic I need to say, it's a Copilot and it's not a pilot. So that means we need to check the data after it's provided. It can provide 50% correctness, it can provide 70%, and it can provide 90%. But still, the responsibility is not of the Copilot, it's of the user to correct it, to do whatever he wants, but not to rely on it 100%. I mean, rephrasing a sentence, I think, would work perfectly. But if you want, if I was a boss for somebody else, and my employee did that without checking it, I would be very. I would demand him to check it properly before he sends it out, because it's
Absolutely.
new.
I create a lot of presentations with Copilot. I use storytelling to define a story, and then I create a presentation from that with Copilot. But I always check the presentation if everything is right. You have to
Yes.
do that.
Yes, it's a true Copilot, but you need to double check the data that it returns.
Sometimes I looked for, it was actually in ChatGPT, not in, but I asked to some kind of a PowerShell question, and it gave me all kinds of code that doesn't exist. It invented the codes or mixed up between PowerShell for SharePoint, PNP, and or it did a mishmash. So
No, but
somebody
that's a nice
professional
book.
needs.
Yeah, but sorry, Ayman, continue.
No, I think it won't replace the people, because the people that know what they're doing will be able to do it. Maybe they'll be able to do it faster and do more things, but a professional person still needs to review what he's asking and what he receives.
True, and about that PowerShell, I know a lot of IT admins that don't like to write PowerShell code. But yeah, a Copilot can help them to create a PowerShell script and to put out some settings or to configure some settings, and they don't have to think about it themselves. Only like 5% they have to check it, but the other 95% you can use it.
I would recommend to test it on a test sandbox before you
Or
run it on production. You don't want to. I learned something from PowerShell. There's no rollback usually. You write it. You can sometimes do the opposite, but sometimes it's not as easy to change the setting because you're writing like some kind of a code, which you
Yes,
yeah.
I fully agree with that. And
yeah, but-
sometimes there is just no way back.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh my God.
always test your PowerShell script through, and never in production. True.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you both. Hey, what role does Microsoft Purview play in managing data compliance and security for Copilot usage?
Let's go to Amy first.
Yeah,
No, I need to think about it. So I
I
guess there's some compliance settings that can be done, but I don't really, I'm not that deep on that topic. So maybe I would pass on the question to someone else.
to Paul.
to
No,
someone else.
yeah, someone else.
I
Okay.
I think for Purview, like the sensitivity labels are really important, and that plays along with Copilot, but also the DLP policies and retention are things that are really important to know that are set up in Purview. So I think if you don't have that in place, it's a miss. First of all, it's a missed chance because it will really enhance your data. And second of all, I think at least when we look at Dutch compliance, to to be compliant with the law, I think you need the purview. If you don't have purview set up correctly, you are actually doing something outside of the law. That's my view of it.
Yeah, well, but I agree, Paul, on that. And what you also see is that Microsoft also continues to improve the Purview Admin Center, the AI hub. They put in the admin portal, and you can monitor those Copilot prompts and other usage of AI tools in your environment. But maybe it's a good one, maybe for the next interview, that we deep dive a little bit on the Purview side.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
we want to play around a little bit with that with you.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we had some conversations about it, Paul, in the past. So
Yeah, I think still a lot. I'm almost sure that 75% of the companies are not using Purview at this moment.
totally true. And every company has the same problem: a lack of knowledge, or people don't know how to start, or hey, this is a very big puzzle. Oh, we have to do something with productivity. Oh, we have to do something with security. Oh, compliance. Oh, what the hell? Oh, the AI Act is coming also, NIS 2.
Yeah.
Where to start?
Exactly that.
Yeah, but if we leave the word Copilot, it's already the basic hygiene you have to have in place.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But see, do you have a lot of customers on your side, Paul or Amy, that are already using Copilot in a good way, in a good implemented way?
I think
That's a trick
most
question.
are testing it. There's a parameter of costs which people are not that happy to take too many licenses. Once there was a minimum of 300, so people either bought, and it was like $100,000. So that was really a high entry point. Now you can order specific ones, but I believe people are key people are trying to test it and to see how it is. But Microsoft, of course, is marketing and trying to sell it all. And listen, there's lots of benefits. People that are working with Excel can use Copilot and make things much more faster. Even people that want to make a form, yeah, they can now do it for a quiz or a poll or survey. Soon, OneDrive is rolling out soon, and there you could actually compare between files, even in SharePoint or shared documents. So there's lots of potential, but I'm not sure how many are using it in a broad manner, at least locally.
Did you see the list of all those Copilot versions that are available?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so much, and the customers are now asking, "Hey, there is a big list of Copilot versions. What do we have to use? We only wanted to do something with productivity." And another customer is asking me, "Yeah, I want to extend something with a security layer. Is there some Copilot for that?" Of course, but
But
it's a big list.
that's like all of the Vivas. So you had so many Vivas, and
Yeah.
people couldn't know what are all of these Viva types, and some went away, and some are coming, and I don't know how many are using even actually Viva for all of the Vivas. Maybe some of them, but for sure not all of them, because some are extra costs. So
that was my question actually to you or guys. How many clients do you know that actually use Viva, the full suite?
well, I guess Viva Connection would be the first one that people would use, because that's showing your homepage in Teams. But I'm not sure how many are using it, with the menu and all of that. But maybe Viva Learn, maybe Insight, I don't know how many. And one Viva that I think went away, wasn't that the tasks? No, Viva topics. I think is
Yes, but
they're
that's
shutting it down. I think. Oh,
yeah, because they merged the product somewhere else. So that's the good thing. And I agree on the FIFA connections, which I suggest to everybody who is using SharePoint as an intranet,
yeah.
because it will make your pages available in Teams, but also directly because you have your Teams on your mobile, you directly have your SharePoint on your mobile, which is a great feature.
I think it's possible to have multi Viva connections with different pages, just like you have. Um, uh, I think you can have once you could only have one home site. Now you can
Yes,
have multiple ones, and then I guess you can have how many?
5.
Five? And then you could have probably for different sections or countries or something. But can you define Viva connection different ones based on the homepage of the person that is organized? I haven't tested that, but okay. But we're going away from Copilot. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
So
another
let's go
session,
back.
guys.
Yeah.
But I have another question for Paul. How would you approach an adoption project if we're talking about Copilot and a customer wants to use Copilot? How would you
Well,
approach such an adoption project?
I think there are several ways to do this,
Mhm.
and especially because we all learn in different ways. So some will go to my YouTube channel, some go to Amy's YouTube channel, and
Yeah.
some just want to read
And
your
some
blog.
will have a face-to-face training. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that's really important to know that there are several ways people learn, and it's not only one way that's the right way. So that's I think really important. Next to that, you have to look at the organization where you are going to implant the Copilot. How do they work? What is their philosophy? How do they work together? And based on that, you can create, for example, you could use Microsoft Learn. Um, you could use the handouts. There are several ways to do the adoption around that.
It always depends on the maturity of an organization. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think we should, to add to what Paul says, is to find some champions or people that are happy to adopt very fast and that can give, if they're happy, they can, from word to mouth, they can spread the word. And then it's better than, forcing people to do it, because people that like it and can find the benefit and the time saving and the cost saving, then they will already train the trainer. So you
Yes,
train somebody which is might be a key user or someone or somebody which is a fast adopter or has a positive thing, and then that's easier to roll it out. And additional thing is the support of management, because if
absolutely.
but I wish the case was that we needed to. I think because of the costs, I think organizations will not roll it out like teams. Okay, so not everyone will get it at the first stage, and maybe not on the third or fifth. So now we're talking about I don't know what's the percentage of people that would get a license in an organization, and especially if it's a big company, for sure, not everyone will get. But so it's a different type of adoption than saying everyone is using Team, everyone is using SharePoint. Here it's more, I guess, uh, division wise. Job description or other things that think. So
Yeah.
each
Nice.
training a finance person is different than training a IT person and training a HR person.
Yes,
Uh,
and to come back to your like champions, you always have this curve, which is the early adopters, the major group, and you also have laggers, so people who don't want to adopt it see it as a attack to their work at this moment.
Yeah.
So I think this is a typical curve that is everywhere when you introduce something new.
Of course, and always with new tooling, you have to look which added value does a Copilot tool add to certain uh, personas.
Exactly, and that's going back to the first question.
Yeah,
When you do it with a group, you can select which personas need it really.
true. Within our own company, we are using Copilot now, but only for a small group of people, and most of them work a lot with documents and have meetings and stuff like that, and they can get added value from that.
Absolutely.
But a frontline worker has no added value.
Exactly.
No.
But
Maybe for his shifts.
it's a little bit too expensive for that.
Yes. But I'm hoping Copilot might become maybe cheaper or even with less features, but more wider, and maybe Microsoft can do some kind of a mishmash and find, let's say in meetings, summary can be available for everyone, and more advanced things you would pay, just like there's a premium, just because you know. So, most of the big things that have been adopted were given free, like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is used, it's free, but so many people are using it, so it's became a standard. Okay. And also, I think Microsoft has a competition with other AI products.
Yes.
So they need somehow to say, I prefer everyone just like to use Office instead of using Google Office or something like that. So it's sometimes it's not only money; it's also the amount of people that are using it, and then uh, their audience is uh, yeah, they have the audience with them because they're using it and not somebody else.
Yes.
But we
but
don't know.
it would help if the license model would be a little bit less difficult.
I think you need a doctorate to
Yeah,
understand the licenses in Microsoft, but some people specify with and it changes all the time. So once it's called
yeah.
Office, then it's called Microsoft 365, and now all of a sudden I think the Teams is a separate license than the other things. Is that
In
true?
Europe. In Europe, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so.
But I always hear the sentence, empower every people. And I think, hey, if you want to empower every people, make the Copilot price a little bit cheaper and yeah, help everyone to use that kind of technology.
Well,
Yeah.
once the iPhone was very expensive, and then it became
Still.
more.
It still is.
Yeah, yeah, but still, but once it was I don't know, $2,000, and now it's $1,000. Okay, so
Yeah. I
Yeah.
and
agree.
you can provide all, just like ChatGPT has versions that you can have, an advanced one which is faster and you can ask more questions, and there's the cheaper one which gives you only 2 years back or from, yeah, not there. So you can find a model, but we hope everyone can use it sometime, because the more people use it, the more people are lazy. No, joking. No, but hopefully they have more time for non-work topics for pleasure.
But I think
Well,
there's one thing we agree, I think all, is that Microsoft is moving very quickly, at very rapid speed, that l- most of the customers don't even can catch up. And I think that's a
we
real danger.
we can't catch up, and we are
Exactly.
updated. But
Exactly.
Yeah, but maybe you guys recognize it. Like 5 years ago, I had different conversations with customers than I have now.
Yes.
I have to have conversations with customers from a more broad perspective. And like 5 years ago, I could zoom in on a certain topic, but now it's the complete 365 platform.
Yeah.
But Paul, I want to say it's hard to catch up. But since the COVID or Corona and the rollout of Teams, then it's amazing how many features and products have been rolled out. So
Yeah.
it's been, amazing. So starting from the modernization of SharePoint and the Teams meetings are becoming, and even the avatars and all. What it's called, the rooms. So there's so many things changing in a positive thing. Just
Absolutely.
imagine you can record a meeting, and now in stream you can ask to summarize it, not in stream, not in Teams. So, and you can edit the video. So it's giving lots of and
The
integrating all,
possibilities are
yeah,
endless.
integrating all kinds of things like Designer and Clipchamp, and wow,
Yeah.
I am amazed, and I enjoy all of that, even though it's overwhelming, but somehow it can give that. The issue is sometimes if you have lots of tools, then you don't know which tool to use. Okay, you
Exactly.
have a you want a task management, so you have Planner, you have List, you have OneNote, you
Yeah.
have a
Project
Word,
online.
Yeah, but
you
Amy,
have Project.
yeah, but that is exactly the problem customers have. There are a lot of tools, a lot of services that they have a little bit of overlap,
Yep.
and the customers ask us, "Hey, which tool is better?" But it's not good or it's not bad. You can use both, but yeah, make a choice. But maybe Microsoft have to publish less services that do a little bit the same and make it for customers easier to understand.
Yeah.
Yes, and
But
I think
it's always a difficult question. This.
I
Yes.
think we as MVPs can support Microsoft, help gap the bridge or the barrier between what's rolling out and what's actually, and how to use it, or what's the best use case. So I think we can, because we're easy to, we can learn fast and we can understand it, and we can be the people that they can help. But I think still Microsoft needs to maybe improve a bit with the training and maybe videos, but we can give the practical ways to use it, because we're in the field and we know exactly how people work. So it's a combination and a collaboration between both Microsoft and anyone that shares knowledge, not only MVPs.
True. Hey
What?
guys, we're
What?
gonna wrap up this little interview,
Yes.
and maybe you both can share your thought of today with the public. What do you want to share as a wrap up for this session?
Well, I just want to do one thing, which I want to bring to mind, and I'm curious how you think about this. I know we are going to wrap up, so I keep it short.
It's
But
not about Piva.
no, if we use Copilot, for
Yeah.
example, we are now in 3 different organizations using Copilot.
Yeah.
You are the organizer in this case, Renee,
Yeah.
but I want to use Copilot as well. But I cannot use Copilot because it's in your organization. And that's one thing I would really like to see changed in the future.
True.
So
Sorry.
so you would expect that if it's in the same organization, you could do that, Paul, right?
Yes. Yes.
If both of you have the license, but you're saying if it's different organizations, but what if both both of organizations have license?
You cannot use Copilot.
Okay,
At least
so
one can use it and the other
Yeah.
one cannot. So you have to either say, okay, I want the transcript at the end of the meeting, so you can load it in your own Copilot. But it would be easy if there is a policy or a setup for that. But that's my thought of today. Let's
Yeah.
say it that way.
But it's a nice one. It would be very handy to have some kind of toggle, a setting in Microsoft Teams or another admin center. You can both share information in this session. You both agree.
Absolutely agree. Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a good one. And you, Amy?
well, I just noticed this morning or this afternoon the new feature, the Copilot pages, where you can actually write a prompt, and then instead of just copy it, you can store it on a page, and then the page is like a loop component where you can share with other people, or you can do many things, or put it in Teams or Outlook or other things. So that looks like a great feature where you can save all of your things, and that's really a cool thing. And I just even noticed that there's some kind of a where you can ask also. It's I think it's called a design creator, where you can ask also not only text things, but more draw me an image or something like that. So that use. So that's something I'm looking forward to test, and I think it will be cool.
Hey, Amy, if you disable Microsoft Loop for the whole organization, would Copilot pages still work?
I don't know. I think Microsoft said that the Copilot pages are stored in OneDrive, but I could not find it. I need to test if it's in the site pages of OneDrive, because I did not see it. So if you go and say copy link and open the link, it opens it up somewhere in a general workspace, and then you can add it to one workspace. But you can use it. I think it should work. Not as a page, but if you copy it as a component, like a loop component, then you could put it in Teams or Outlook or Word. So if it works in Word and in Teams, you don't need a page because it's a component.
Yes, but if loop is disabled by default, I doubt it if it's working, because you are disabling the SharePoint embed functionality. So you disable the container. I think it's not working, but we should check it out.
I had this conversation with a customer last week. He would like to use Copilot, but that Microsoft Loop functionality, we don't like it. Let's disable it. So maybe not a very good idea.
No.
Why would you disable? I would disable OneDrive before Loop. I don't know how many people use Loop. Yes, but that's a different issue.
I do a lot.
Okay.
More and more.
More and more. I really like it, but it's something maybe for another session. So, hey guys, really thank you for this lovely interview about a lot of different topics than Copilot. But yeah, maybe the next time Amy or Paul can choose a session
Topic.
and a topic. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and it's a really fun company, and looking forward to have more sessions, interesting, and to challenge each other with questions and answers. So thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thanks.
Next time, Amy, it's all about purview. I'm kidding around. I will stop the recording, guys.